And
Pebble. You
so
want
it's our April 2023 update roundup, and we're just going to jump right into this. This is a new format that we're experimenting with as well. Um, we might be changing some things up in the future with the update roundups, but we're going to jump right into everything in terms of what's new in terms of features for Pebble. So I'm also going to get Kevin to share his screen, but the first one that we want to talk about is our inbox contacts. Kevin, do you want to you want to share your screen there?
Yes. Yeah, are you able to see that
Yep.
one?
Mhm.
Okay. So, this has been a big request from people, that, as you know, we shipped this new inbox feature for Pebble, to sort of aggregate all of your communication in one spot. So from emails to text messages and phone calls, lead form submissions, all of that goes into your inbox. And one thing that we had sort of a bit of a disjointedness was that we weren't able to associate a specific contact with a specific conversation that comes in. So, for example, here I've got a lead form submission. So somebody's gone to my website, they've filled out this lead form, and they filled out their information here. Now, what Pebble is going to do, and what you'll see new here in in the coming week or so, is this new contact uh, section up here on the right side. By default, Pebble is actually going to auto suggest a contact if it can find one. So if your contact already exists, we will try to auto suggest that. And so it's going to say here that we've identified a contact. Do you want to save that below? So you just click save. Now this contact is associated with this form submission. Similarly, we'll do that same thing if there's a deal that exists that's already associated with this contact, and then you can do the same here. You can just click save, and now we've got that those deal details there as well. You can always edit or remove the contact here just by clicking edit. You can remove the contact and select a different one if you'd like. So I can select somebody else here by searching them, and we have that as well. So that's sort of the new contact details that are
Yeah.
part of each thread, and this really helps tie the loose ends in associating a contact with an individual conversation.
I know certainly during our Dirt Hacker Challenge, some people were talking about this specifically, and this is going to be a huge time saver. So you know who you are when we talked about it, and in our current Dirt Hacker Challenge about this specifically, being able to pull or associate an existing contact. This will be live here shortly. So let's go on to the next one here, Kevin. Um, the next one is the suggested contacts and deals. We just talked about that as well. So it's suggesting that. The next big one here is really new campaign creation. So there is a
Yes.
new campaign creation process. Kevin, you want to go campaigns there?
Sure.
Awesome. So when you're creating a campaign now, one of the things that you're going to be able to do is choose what type of campaign is this. Either it is a direct mail campaign or a phone campaign. So you're going to see that here. Now you might be wondering, well, what's the big difference here? This actually changes the process a little bit. When you're matching up your columns, there are
Mhm.
required fields right now. For example, we used to make sure that it's required that you had the owner's address, the owner's mailing address. If you selected phone, there is no need for that. And this is all coming back to this notion of that you guys are exploring and are doing outbound marketing, whether it's texting, cold calling, ringless voicemails, whatever it is. If it's one of those, that is a phone campaign. The only thing that is required is the APN, the owner's name, and the phone number. Right, Kevin? I think I got it all there.
Mhm.
Now, if it's a
Yep.
direct mailing, whether you're mailing through Pebble or your own mail house, well, we're going to require that mailing address. Now, to categorize this, will make your life easier, and we'll also be hopefully using some of that information down the road as well. But you can see here, Kevin's going to create a campaign. He's going to drag in a file, and there's also a new screen that I want to make sure we touch upon here too. We've been sort of working on some of the UI here for the campaign creation. So once that's uploaded, you're going to see a new sort of page for matching up your column headers. Um, So it's interfaced a little bit differently here, but the required fields are going to be at the table at the top, the optional fields at the
Mhm.
bottom there. So those are the only ones that we require now. So it's awesome if you guys are, doing your text campaigns and you wanted to bring in those, deals that never got back to you so you can mail. Well, you can bring it in without having to have their, you know, uh, mailing addresses. So there's a lot of sort of flexibility with that. Um, there was one more thing I wanted to mention. Right. With this now, Kevin, do you want to explain sort of the auto alignment of the header?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you recall previously, if you were bringing in a spreadsheet from, say, Data Tree or Priced or any of those list providers, we used to have a little drop down here where you could select the drop down and then select your list provider. And that worked okay, but you had to sort of remember to go up here and select the list provider. So we basically streamlined all of that. So instead of having to select your list provider by yourself, we just automatically recognize these fields. So we'll know if you import a list and it has, say, all the if you coming from data tree, we already know what those data tree column names. So we'll just automatically match up those column names for you, so you don't have to select that I'm bringing this in from data tree. Just helps take out one step in the process there. And of course, once you match up your spreadsheet names once, let's say you've got some different ones, or you want to rematch things up from the default way Pebble does it. When you come in the next time, if you bring in that same the list with those same column names, Pebble will remember that for you, so you don't have to do it twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, to recap, there was a lot with the campaign here. There's the ability now to choose the different type of campaign that'll change what's required. Obviously, with the phone, we're not going to bring in mailing addresses. If you're selecting direct
Mhm.
mailing, whether you're mailing through us or another mail house, you do need that address. Excuse me. This visual here is a little bit different. The required fields are at the top, and finally, the auto detecting of your column headers will also happen.
Yep. And we also, just lastly, once you import your list, we actually are able to, we give you a bit of a nicer review page to show your errors. If you recall before, we sort of just dumped all the errors on the page and you sort of had to read through those to figure out what the problem was. In this case, we're now showing you specifically which columns had errors. So in this case, I'm saying, because this is a phone campaign, we're asking you to bring in the phone number, and this is saying that 65 out of 100 rows didn't have a valid phone number. So I can click Review Errors, and you can see that here that we've got a bunch of rows here that didn't include that phone number value. So we're just asking to redo that there. So a bit of a nicer interface here for reviewing your errors.
Yeah. So that's sort of the new campaign creation process. Let's go on next. We've got a change here. I know this was requested for a number of times here to display the phone number you're calling from. So some of you guys are going to have multiple phone numbers here. I'll get Kevin to sort of show this. When you make a call now, you'll know which phone number you're calling from. So if you have multiple phone numbers, you're going to recognize where you're calling from, especially when you're leaving a voicemail and you don't remember your phone number. When you're calling now, you're going to be able to see that phone number. So when you hit call here, uh, you can see.
It'll now say, yeah, outgoing call from, and then the number that you're calling from. So when you're talking to the person, you can say, "Hey, give me a call back at this number," and you can read it out there. So just a little bit of a nice uh, utility there.
Yeah. All right. So lastly here, we now have this function to sync all emails. So for those of you guys that are using our inboxes, there are two emails. There's the inbox email address that is given to you. Anything can come into that email address, and there is your connected email address. I'm going to get Kevin to share a screen here. The connected one has sort of this discriminatory
Mhm.
rule. If the email coming in is not an existing contact, let's say your mother is emailing you, that is not going to come into Pebble unless it is a contact. But now we sort of have this toggle that'll allow some of you guys are saying, hey, but people are emailing me. I don't have their email address when I mailed them. We totally get that. So now we have a function here where you can click to sync all emails from this email account or from this account. So everything will come through, including your mother's email if she has that email address. So it's my suggestion that your email should only be used for intaking those leads. That way you don't get a lot of junk into Pebble. If you do, you can still close things out. You don't need to worry. Otherwise, you can go back to the other way and sort of sync only emails from this account that match my Pebble contacts list. So you're going to have that option here to do so.
Mhm.
All right. So that will keep your inbox nice and clean. And yeah, these are the updates for April 2023. Kevin, am I missing anything here?
No, I think that's everything. Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more things happening behind the scenes here. A bunch of changes to how new accounts are getting onboarded, which is we're really excited about, but only affects you if you're a brand new user to Pebble,
Yeah.
and a few other things that we're really excited about that we've been spending a lot of time on as well.
Hey, if you guys are watching this, you want to get fully optimized inside of Pebble. I run a challenge every month called the Dirt Hacker Challenge. If you're interested in that, head over to dirthackerchallenge.com. Kevin and I are going to be releasing these once a month. You're going to see it within the app now, this whole video. You're going to also be able to see it on YouTube. So if you want to get notified on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to Pebble's YouTube channel as well on Instagram. We're going to create little shorts and chop these up. So you can follow us at pebble.rei. Other than that, thanks so much for joining us for this month's feature update roundups. Thanks, Kevin.